Hi guys, we're in the interview room and I've got one man that I've always hoped and wished and prayed that I would have in the interview section, because what he does primarily and universally defines what football is in this generation and going into whatever length the future have for us in sports, not just in football but across all sports. There is not a sport you do today that doesn't deal with the science of the game, the statistics, the data, the numbers and everything. Every player that you want to sign, you want to know how good he is to the left, to the right, what he does going forward, heat map and all that. That is what has taken over football today. And for someone to take it up with his team and say we are going to do this as a job and to make the job easy for those who are scouting for players, for those who are coaching, and for those who are trying to sign players and those who are trying to develop players, is a very great thing. And that's the man that I have, the CEO of Result Sport. But I'll let him to sing his own song and tell you what he does, when they started, how many years of experience he's got on the job. I've got Mario Leo, my very good friend and brother, lover of African and most especially Nigerian football and Nigerian sports in general. Mario, welcome to the show.
Hello, it's a great pleasure to be on your show tonight. It's a real privilege, and I'm very honored to be on the show and discuss all the topics on football, on data and everything. My name is Mario Leo. I'm the founder and CEO of Result Sports. Result Sports is a digital platform where everything is based on data, performance data of the players, passing data, statistics, how many passes do we pass forward, how many passes go backwards, players under stress levels, but also predominantly also our work is in social media. How many followers do the clubs have? How can they grow the followership? How can we become local, regional, national and obviously global in all our activities? So we're helping clubs, leagues, federations and athletes in terms of communication, in marketing, for the sponsorships to be activated properly and really be there for football. And you're absolutely right. I'm a global pilgrim, born and bred in Germany, married to an Asian wife, and fell in love with African sports a long time ago. Yeah, in '94 when the Super Eagles were flying high on global scene in the Olympics and then in the World Cup. So it's been astonishing to watch, but then also I also see that especially in the last 5-6 years, the evolution kind of stagnated. Yeah, we're always looking in to find Nigerian roots in Europe and bring them to the Super Eagles national team. But we have got so much talent in Nigeria itself, the NPFL. How many children are playing football in Nigeria? We don't know. And that's why I try to get the NFF organized to saying we need to have a database where all the players are registered, where all the goals are registered. We need to know how many talents we have, and we need to flourish and evolve our own sport. And that's my commitment and that's my dedication, and I look forward to our conversation tonight because there's a lot to discuss and I very much look forward to our discussion.
The fact is that we have a very short time, but in this short time we're going to make it useful. My friend Timi Dakolo will always say simplicity is the best form of complex. It's not how many words that we talk about, but it's the quality of the word. And when I have a man like you, I know that we're going to deal with quality more than quantity. So let's start straight up with quality. The NPFL, to which I belong, I used to play in this league, and now I am jointly part of the people that produce the weekend matches that goes on. So I'm going to ask you this. If the NPFL decide, Mario, we need your company Result Sports to come to Nigeria and work with us, in what area do you think that Result Sports and those who talk of data and statistics, passing left, right, front, back and center, how would they help to grow the league? And then the other part you talked about, the numbers of following on social media, how does that bring naira and kobo, dollar and pounds, euros, how does that bring those type of things to the table?
It does in Europe, and it will bring dollars and euros and naira into the NPFL through communication, through marketing, because many of the NPFL teams currently really use social media just as a facilitator to send out information. What's the score, who scored, and when the clubs are behind, they just stop communicating because they then get harassed and punished and abused on social media. So we want to improve, first of all, the quality of knowledge within the teams, in the communications department, in the marketing departments. We don't want only the governors to take responsibilities of how our football develops, because nobody in the Premier League basically has a governor to sort of push Manchester City to push Chelsea forward and in the communities and everything. We need the football clubs to become really responsible by themselves, and then obviously we can also help about the statistics of the game. Yeah, you can see new statistics in Europe called expected goals. Yeah, I don't like them personally too much, because a goal is a goal. Yeah, expected or not, it's a goal. It counts. So we have to look into fundamental data, and that's where we need to see. When you look at the Rivers United plays Conference Cup in an African continent, plays the NPFL. The players are not rested strongly enough. There's no data to show the blood sugar level of a player, the physical status of the player. The players, they just ask, "Oh, you feel good?" And every player will answer, "Yes, of course I feel good. I want to play." And we need to sort of balance the exercise. It's because a football player overall has 10 to 12 years for a career to play football. Most of the time in this 10 to 12 years, he also needs to make a saving for his retirement, because many times you are born and bred and developed as a footballer. Yeah, you're not ready for the real life, and that's sometimes a challenge. And that's what we also want to help with all our knowledge and experiences we've gained across Europe, across Asia, to bring it to Nigeria and bring it to the NPFL.
Well, that's a beautiful one, but one of the deepest questions that a lot of people ask. I've spoken to Bendel Insurance. You know my relationship with my former club, Rivers United, and I've also spoken to the guys in the Eyimba. And in all this conversation, there is always a mention of, I know a guy in Germany, his name is Mario. I think he's going to do a whole lot of good if you guys bring him to this club and allow him to work his magic behind the scene. But some of them are confused about the money. The money part is the biggest question that everybody's always asking. If we bring this result sport guy to this team and we need him to, pump his energy, his ability into the team, how long would it work before it starts translating into money? That's a question that people always want to know. Is it an indefinite thing, you work forever, or you can say based on proven statistics and result? If I take a club like Eyimba or a club like Rivers United or a club like Bendel Insurance, who are top of the pile in their group right now, I am certain to add XYZ value to their player like Divine Nwachukwu, Imade, all of these players, and also the club, their branding, the sales of their jerseys and attendance in stadium. How long does it take for a resort sport to be able to do that?
I think we need to look overall at the overall problem. I think the overall problem is, first of all, the relationship between the fan and the club. And at the moment, I feel that in Nigeria, there's just a limited relationship. I think the relationship of many Nigerian football fans is with Chelsea, with Manchester United, with Arsenal. And we need to change that behavior first, that the local patriotic movement comes in, that the teams of Eyimba, of Rivers United, of all the ones are there, are bonding. It hurts my eyes when I see Wydad, the reigning African champions, comes to Uyo, to Rivers State to play against Rivers United, and then there's 3,000-4,000 people only in a very, very, very big venue, because there is no bonding, because there's no relationship between the fans. I expect that if we acknowledge that the fans want to see football, if we make initiatives that local football is the prime to look at, because those stars are they are next door neighbors, they are close by, they are touchable. We never ever in Nigeria will be able to touch Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, and all the big stars. They are idols, and we want to develop our own talent. We have superb talent. When you look back into the 90s, Emmanuel Amunike, JJ Okocha, Sunday Olise, I mean, just to name three, but Mutyu, and there's so many others who've given their heart for the Super Eagles and for Nigeria. And some of them, quite a number of them, have developed in the local league. Today, the Super Eagles, we don't see many. Just now there was a Rivers United goalkeeper kind of invited as the local player, but there's not much of NPFL players representing the Super Eagles. So we need to have the entire value chain be reconsidered, and that starts obviously with the general secretary and the presidency of the NFF, to really value that. Nigerian Football Federation needs to put in a development program. The governors need to put in a development program into infrastructure. We need good pitches where our children will develop. We need superb, outstanding coaches. We need coaches certification. That the best coaches coach and train and evolve the best talent. And that's a long-term project. But short-term, to build relationships, to make it count, to make it worthwhile, I expect the initial activities between 4 to 6 months to see some initial results, to see some little wave. And then when the people start to believe that this wave of new, modern Nigerian football can happen, it's the buy-in of all the stakeholders, the fans, the media, the sponsors, the players, the clubs, all that. If everybody pulls on the same string, follows the same vision, I believe we can get some results in the first 6 months.
Wow, that's very, very quick result. 6 months is a very short time to work miracles, because for me, that would be considered a miracle. Now let's push the conversation a little bit further down the road. You just mentioned some great names that represent what Nigerian football used to be. And some of those great names, Sandolise, JJ Okocha, they all played in the German Bundesliga. And I'm going to come to African players that played in the German Bundesliga in time past, and even the ones that are currently playing now. And we've even had a father and son situation of Selemani Sane and Leroy Sane, who's played both of them are played in the German Bundesliga. Now, I'm going to come to something you mentioned. You talked about development of infrastructure, investment by government. And there is always this conversation over here that government does not need to put money in sports. How does the German system work? I know that when the World Cup was won in 1990 in Italy, the German government made a deliberate and intentional effort to develop German football, and the 50+1 system was introduced. But then there was also massive investment infrastructure. There was the tax rebate. If you're investing in sports development, you get a lot of tax rebate. But I'm not going to be saying it because I'm a Nigerian. What do I know? You are a German, you are the expert. I'm going to take it from you. Give me a rundown of how the German government and the entire model that the Germans have operated that have worked so efficiently well. I could say that the German system is the most efficient system in the world. Little wonder between 1990 and now, Germany, correct me if I'm wrong, have played in 3 World Cup finals, won 2 and lost 1 in Korea in 2002. That's not a coincidence. It's because some people made a careful plan to lay down a structure. So explain to me or my audience how the German investment in sports work from the very lowest level, grassroots level, to the very top.
And that's exactly where we need to separate grassroots level to the professional level. You also know that in Germany we've got the 50+1 rule, which is at the highest level. So no foreign investor can take over a club by 100%. 51% need to stay with the club entity. And that's from grassroots to the professional level to FC Bayern, exactly the same. In Germany, we have 22,000 registered football clubs. And basically they are divided into 40 different football regions. And all these 40 football regions collect data. How many players are playing in the under 8s? How many players are playing the under 10s? How many players are playing the under 12s? How many certified coaches do they have? Then these local clubs give this number to the regional football federation, saying, here, my hometown, my son played football earlier. They've got in the under 12, they've got 25 players and 2 coaches, certified coaches. So they give these 25 players and 2 coaches to the local federation, the Hessen Football Federation. They collect the data from all the clubs in Hesse, and then they send it to the German Football Federation, and the German Football Federation gives per player, per certified coach, a funding to the club. And that's sort of to enable to see that every time when players are there, that the funding comes from the Football Federation to the club, and the club then obviously the more player he has, the more funding he gets, and for this funding, then he obviously builds the infrastructure. Very often, municipalities assist the club to maintain the infrastructure, because the running cost, as you know, is also something to be considered.
There is something beautiful you just mentioned, and it struck me that I've never heard that in the Nigerian context, that the federation, which is the DFB, if I am correct, provide funding for the local clubs that have, say, 22 players. Can we have a number? Can we place a number to that? I'm sorry, but like, how much is that money? Is it a part three sum? Is just a compensation, or is it a substantial amount?
It's more or less a compensation. It's probably approximately somewhere in the range of 150 to 180 euros per annum. So it's not huge, but obviously if you have, the more children you have, the more you get. So the club actually anticipated and motivated to get more players registered for all the teams, and also to remain the clubs. Because you see, the DFB gets this funding then from the Ministry of Health from the German government. Because if somebody is exercising, he is healthier than somebody who is not exercising. And we need a healthy society in order to have life quality, in order to be have a positive mood and a positive attitude towards life. You need to be physically exercising. And that's proven by scientists, that's proven by everybody. Somebody who's exercising has a healthier, happier life than somebody who is just not exercising at all and doing anything. So that's why I think we could have a national health agenda for Nigeria, and not only focusing on football. We have great basketball players in Nigeria. We've got a handball initiative in River State who is doing well. We've got ringers, wrestlers, boxers in Nigeria who all could benefit from a national health agenda by the government, through the governors, through each state, because obviously the possibility to have a healthy lifestyle is there. We just need coaching, we need the infrastructure, we need to know how many children are playing football, how many children are playing handball, basketball, and we don't. At the moment, it's just unknown. That's why we need to start at some point to register the players. Because with that registration in the club, my son is a registered member of the under 12. He's also covered by an insurance. So if something happens during a match day, that he is injured, that he is have a broken toe, a broken arm, a broken leg, the football club is insured that he will get the medical treatment in the hospital, because it was doing exercise for the club, representing his club, so he is insured in that as well. And the overall structure of the value chain is very, very sophisticated, and obviously is kind of biannually reviewed. What needs to be improved, what needs to be there. And obviously, yes, we see Germany is a country where the demographics, they're becoming more and more older people than younger people, while in Nigeria, it's the opposite. We have a tremendous amount of youngsters who want to exercise, but they don't have the possibility.
All right, it will be suicidal to my audience, and they might cut my head if I don't take this conversation into what has happened with Bayern Munich. But before we talk about the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann, who took over from Hansi Flick, who went to the national team, and now Thomas Tuchel, who got fired by Chelsea, long story, let's talk about the Bayern Munich team, and who are partners with us for the German youth, the Bayern Youth Cup every year in Nigeria. I want to know, why is it that it is almost impossible for any other team to win the German Bundesliga? And why does Bayern have so much money, so much resources that RB Leipzig, Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, Wolfsburg, and the rest cannot match up to them? What do they do right that the other clubs need to learn?
FC Bayern is a machine, and the machine is filled with oil, with revenue, with the commercial package. And you can see that FC Bayern just announced before their General Assembly that they've got more than 300,000 members. And you see every member pays 60, 80, 90 euro for an annual membership to get a possibility to buy a ticket. This ticket is not guaranteed, but the members in Germany, besides the funding of the players, the members in Germany also they pay a membership fee, and the more members you have, the more obviously commercial foundation and funding you have. And that's, Bayern Munich is very smart in that, growing the membership. But FC Bayern Munich is also very smart in identifying their shareholders. So besides the registered club, they've put a they put a commercial entity called FC Bayern München AG, a shareholding company. But the shareholding company cannot be sold by 100% because 51% of this shareholding company is owned by the club, by FC Bayern Munich registered club. And then 49% of these shares are floating. And Bayern Munich sold 10%, I think, to Audi. Bayern Munich sold about 15% to Adidas, and they are shareholders of the company. So it's in the interest of Audi, it's in the interest of Adidas, it's in the interest of Allianz as insurance that FC Bayern is doing well. So when they enter the shareholding, when they become a shareholder, they obviously put funding into the team as well, which is sponsorships and also the overall assembly. And then Bayern has just a mid and long-term plan. They constantly go out of their comfort zone. They constantly challenge themselves in the board of directors. They constantly challenge the coaches to keep the players hungry, not to be satisfied with the 7th title, the 8th title, the 9th title in series. The hunger, the determination of FC Bayern is frightening. It's frightening the opponents. And the most frightening part of FC Bayern is the consistency. And FC Bayern has been consistency running like an oiled machine for many years. And that's what I think your conversation and our conversation is leading to. Yeah, the consistency of the results for Julian Nagelsmann, that has been the one question by the board of directors.
Yeah, because in any other club, you are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, you are topping the German Bundesliga, yes, floating between first and second sometimes. I don't think that there is any other club in Europe that would have the audacity to sack a coach. You've won the German Bundesliga 10 times in a row. You are doing awesomely well. You are not paying over the top for players. Why did they sack Julian Nagelsmann? And why does anybody think that Thomas Tuchel, our friend, our mutual friend, is the guy that can take them no, not taking them because they're already there, that can sustain the type of consistency that Bayern needs?
I think, as you saw the chain of events last week, nobody expected that to happen. It was an international journalist, Fabrizio Romano, who sort of tweeted and saying that Julian Nagelsmann job is on the line, that he's probably been eliminated by FC Bayern. And then suddenly the German newspapers, Sky Sports, as a German broadcaster for football, they came in and said, yes, true. And I think that chain of events, the board of directors of FC Bayern is divided in that question. Oli Kahn is probably the one mostly leaning towards a replacement of Thomas Tuchel, because he don't know whether the 33-year-old Julian Nagelsmann is the man for the job, is experienced enough. Because yes, when it counts, winning 8 games in the Champions League out of 8, you can't question that. There is no way you can win 9 out of 8. Julian Nagelsmann did a fantastic job in that. But Julian Nagelsmann, as a younger coach, has sort of rested sometimes players in the Bundesliga. In the Bundesliga, when you have a 10-point lead over Dortmund in November before the World Cup break, and that's melting away, and then you go into the national team break, and you are 1 point behind Bayern. The board of directors at Bayern was divided. And this dividing was seen because Herbert Heiner, who is the president of the football club, of the registered club, said just 5 days before the sacking, Julian Nagelsmann is a long-term project. Yeah, we think long of him. The results don't matter in the Bundesliga. We will win the Bundesliga. That's 5 days before the sacking.
Vote of confidence always come before the sack.
Exactly. That's why I think it was Oli Kahn, Hasan Salihamidzic in conversation in this rivalry. Will we be able? And I think there is another twist where Thomas Tuchel possibly, because behind the scenes there's always conversation taking place. And maybe Thomas Tuchel not send a message, but in a conversation mentioned that he's ready to join a big club. He's got an offer on the table from a big club. And the Bayern board of directors feared that Thomas Tuchel again will be gone off the market. And who is going to replace Julian Nagelsmann in the summer when they don't win the German championship, when they don't win the Champions League? So that's why it was like a dynamic evolving of the situation where suddenly the decision appeared because of the media pressure. Fans hated the decision because they were happy with it. And if you look into the social media responses of the fans, they questioned this decision very toughly because Thomas Tuchel's last job in the Bundesliga was with Borussia Dortmund. And also, Thomas Tuchel's departures at the clubs, they always went a bit sour. When he left Mainz for Dortmund, Mainz was not good enough for him. When he left Dortmund, he was sacked at Dortmund. It didn't go without noises. When he left PSG, it didn't go without noises. When he left Chelsea now, it didn't go without noises. And always it's the second year, which is the big challenge. So the Bayern fans now say he would stay with us for 18 months, and then he's gone. And then we lost our Julian Nagelsmann, because when you look into the contract relationship, Julian Nagelsmann contract at Bayern runs till 2026. Thomas Tuchel's contract with FC Bayern runs until 2025. So maybe Julian Nagelsmann will be the successor of Thomas Tuchel when he will go away again in 3 years from now.
Amazing. Okay, so I promise you I wasn't going to take much of your time. I've been educated, I've been schooled, I've been entertained and informed as well. But I'm going to give you some names, and you're going to pick 3 out of these names and tell me which ones are the best that you've seen from Africa play in the German Bundesliga. So follow me on this journey as I mention this name. So I'm going to start with Sadio Mane, who currently plays for Bayern Munich. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who formerly played with Borussia Dortmund between 2013 and 2018. And then there is Gerard Asamoah, who played for Hannover, Schalke 04, St. Pauli, Greuther Fürth over a period of time. And then there is also Kevin Prince Boateng, who's been in the German Bundesliga, who's played since 2007 up until now. Hertha Berlin, Borussia Dortmund, Schalke 04, Eintracht Frankfurt is a wonderful midfielder. And then there is Austin JJ Okocha, the man that Oli Khan will never forget, played for Eintracht Frankfurt as an attacking midfielder. Then there is Tony Yeboah, the man with the big shot from Ghana, played for Strasbourg, Eintracht Frankfurt, Hamburg. Then there is also Jonathan Akpobore, who played for Strasbourg, I think, and then Stuttgart as well. And then there's Victor Agali. There is also Samuel Osai Kufo. There is Ogbuke. And then you have Anthony Bafo, the fullback from Ghana, who played for Cologne, Rotweb, Oberhausen, Stuttgart Kickers, Fortuna Cologne, as well as Fortuna Düsseldorf, playing for 2 clubs that are enemies. And then Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, who's played in different clubs with the man Thomas Tuchel. And then you also have the man Souleymane Sane, who's the father of Leroy Sane. Of all these names that I've mentioned, if you have to pick 3, okay, we don't have all the time in the world anymore. If you have to pick 3 in the last few minutes of the show that we have, who will be on your top 3 of African players that have played in the Bundesliga and made the most impression on you?
Oh, I would name a few more. Jonathan Akpobore, played for Hansa Rostock. And there's so many more at AFA, and everyone is so special. If I would need to pick 3, JJ Okocha will be definitely one of them.
Okay, so let me make it 5.
Not only Oliver Kahn is afraid of him, but his football talent, his style of football, his passion, his commitment, his dedication, absolutely outstanding. Really a rock in always in the top 3 for me in the Bundesliga. Second one, it's really difficult, and I'm doing harm to the ones I don't name.
Okay, I know.
But second one, I would also name a Super Eagle and a Nigerian, Sunday Olise.
Wonderful.
Because for me,
my all-time favorite Super Eagles player.
Because for me, he's been a strategist. Yeah, he's been so fantastic to read the game, to determine the game, to have speed. And again, passion, dedication, commitment, emotions, outstanding. And the third one, because he played for my favorite club, and my favorite club is Hamburg SV, is Anthony Yeboah. He played for Hamburg, he played for Eintracht. His striking, physical striking, when he goes in the air, you could see when he tries to hit the ball from outside the box, you know it's a rocket and it goes just in the top corner of the goal. It was just been brilliant. But like I said, this would be my personal top 3, and I'm doing harm for many others because Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, brilliant. Kevin Prince, Jerome Boateng, brilliant. Because you see, it's a consistency. When you have 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you keep that performance going and evolving. Sameose Kufur, fantastic players, yeah. But also, like I said, we've got so many great African talent, And I wish sometimes that the generation of who was so present in the 90s, in the early 2000s, would have had social media, that their glory shines on until today. Now we only talk about it. We're happy to involve them in radio shows, in TV shows. I'm happy to see Sunday Odyssey, Emmanuel Amunike and others being on the sidelines, giving back to the youngsters of today, their experience, their knowledge. And that's what we need. Football is a family. Football is a sport of evolution. We want that to flourish. We want the Super Eagles to shine, to fly, and not be scared that the draw against Guinea-Bissau will not be enough to qualify for AFCON. The Super Eagles need to fly through the qualification.
Pretty much a special conversation that we've had today. I will try my best to be in Europe later part of the year, in the summer. And when I come, I'll find a way to sneak into Germany and first off drive on the Autobahn and have a feel of hard breeze wafting my face while I've pushed the car beyond limits. I know I have children now, but I like driving in Germany because it allows me to fulfill my need for speed. Thank you very much for your time on the interview room today. I hope that you can make me a promise that we can have you another time.
Anytime you wish. It's a great honor. It's a great privilege. Thank you so much for the conversation. I wish you a very good evening and very much look forward to our next conversation.
All right.
Keep going.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.